All right, now that you guys have read the changes or the states of water, I just want to do a little bit of review from yesterday and just kind of expand upon that states of water. So when we have changes in states of matter, we think about them in three different forms. We have, well, matter can come in a solid, a liquid, or a gas. So let's actually just look at water, for example, since we just read about the states of water. If we have a solid form of water, which would be like an ice cube, what can you think of that would be another solid form of water? You guessed it, ice, frost, snow, those are all solid forms of water. So anytime the solid form of water or a solid gets heated up, when we apply heat, it starts to what? Melt into this new form or this new state of matter, which is a liquid. Now, what would happen to this liquid if we also start to heat this up? Maybe the sun comes out and it's starting to heat up this little puddle of water. It is then going to turn into a gas. For example, here's a pot on the stove and water is boiling inside of this pot. And you'll notice that these little tiny water vapors are coming out of the pot and going into the air. They go into the air as a gas. Remember, there's water vapor around us all the time. It's in the air. You can't see it, but it's in the form of a gas. Now, what would happen to this kind of gas if we were to then cool it down? What if we were to cool it down? What would happen to that water? It would turn back into the liquid if we were to cool it down. Now, what do you think would happen to this liquid if we were also to cool this way down? You guessed it, it would turn back into the solid if we cool it down. Now, let's also go over two other terms that we learned yesterday. So for example, I have this nice sunshine showing here in the bottom left-hand corner. I've got two trees, a little hill in the back, and this tiny little pond. Now let's say it's a really hot day, the sun is beaming down, and it is heating up this pond of water. What do you think is going to happen to some of that water? It's going to heat up and it's going to release into the air as a gas. This process of water turning into that gas or kind of releasing into the air is evaporation. You guys might remember learning about evaporation yesterday. When a liquid changes to a gas, that process is called evaporation. A liquid to a gas. Now, what do you think about this picture over here? We had evaporation yesterday. Now we also have a term called condensation. Condensation. I've got a nice glass of iced tea. So let's pretend that it's a nice warm day outside. Okay, I've got my glass here and I pour iced tea into this glass. Now my iced tea I just got from the refrigerator, so it's really nice and cold. And maybe we've added some ice cubes in our iced tea. We've got some ice cubes in our iced tea, so it's very cold. Now it is actually cooling down this glass. The glass is getting cooler and the air around the glass. The air around the glass is cooling down. It's condensing and you'll sometimes see a glass sweat or have these little water droplets on the side of a glass. That is this gas in the air, this water vapor in the air, returning back to a liquid. Because what happens whenever we cool a gas down? What happens when we cool this down? It turns back into a liquid. So this gas in the air is kind of hitting against the glass. The glass is really cold. So when it's hitting that glass, because the air around it is warmer and it's hitting that cold glass, it's cooling it down and turning it back into a liquid. That's why sometimes you'll have an iced tea glass on a hot sunny day and the outside of the glass makes your fingers wet. It kind of is sweating on the outside, or it has these little water droplets on the outside. So the gas is turning back into a liquid. That is a process called condensation. So if you remember from yesterday, when a gas changes to a liquid, the process is condensation. When a liquid changes to a gas, it's evaporation.